Nice. Hey, welcome to another NinjaBill Live, and I want to welcome my guests, Crimson Raptors, Input, and Transaren 38. And let's see where to begin. Oh well, let's just start with a self-introduction, shall we? And Crimson, you can start.
You can find me on YouTube. I am so close to 200, it's scaring me. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at Crimson like the color, Raptors, RAPTORS. Input, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me right here on YouTube at my Input channel. That's in-PUT, just like it says on the screen. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we have a podcast every Saturday night from the hours of 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time over on the Input page. That's my channel. That's in-PUT. And you guys can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at Ernest P. World, just like the guy who saved Halloween, with a bottle of Miak from the crazy, crazy clowns from outer space.
And Transaren 38.
You'll find me here on YouTube as Transaren38, and you can also follow me on Instagram, and I can follow you guys back. I post all kinds of crazy train pictures, Transformers, you name it, on there, Ghostbuster related. And I need to redo my Twitter, but my Twitter is Transaren38 on there, but I haven't used it in years. So, where can we find you at, TFfangeek?
Me?
Yes, oh, you. You're the only one with TFfangeek in their name, I think.
Well, you guys can find me here on YouTube and on Discord. And even though it's been a while since I've done a video, I'm hoping to finally return to doing some later this week. Did you hear that?
Hello?
Well, I'll be there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cato, thanks for joining us. Will, always welcome. Optimus Wilbur Reviews. Web Junior 1977, I believe that's how you say that. Welcome. Let's see who else is in. Let's see who else is in the chat. We had Dragonfly in the chat earlier, so if you're still here, Dragonfly, also welcome in the chat. And for start with, let's talk about. Have we got anything new, fellas? We'll start with TFfangeek and work counterclockwise. So go ahead, TFfangeek.
What was the question? I'm sorry, I have my mic on.
Have you gotten anything new?
Not recently. I'm saving all my money for Wave 2 of Transformers Earthrise.
Nice. Transaren 38.
Alrighty, yeah, one of the newest editions I got is the new Magic Square. It's the Ghostbusters Optimus Prime. It's the small version I'm showing you guys right here. There's like Magic Square. It's a weird name. Cool. It says it's a Magic Square Bra Ding Nag. It's a weird name.
Wait, and, say that again.
Bro Bing Ding Dag.
Does it mean something? Like, is it Greek for, like, ghost or something like that, or ghost hero?
I was wondering that. I might have to look that up. Good eye on that one. But any other stuff I got coming, I actually got a couple packages probably coming. We'll be getting a whole form of King Poseidon, which is basically the Seacons. I'll be getting all the selects of them coming here. And I will also be getting the Ghostbuster Plasma series figures too. I'm going to get the whole wave 1 of them.
Oh, nice.
The new the ones that build a figure with the Terror Dog this time.
Nice.
So,
nice.
All than that is like Input can take over. So that's all I got.
Well, thank you, Transaren. And I got one thing this week, which I know, big shocker. Input only got one Transformer this week. Crazy.
Well, you ain't larking.
But I think it's a goodie, and I got the San Diego Comic-Con 2017 Power Master Prime exclusive figure that is the Primitive Skateboard Company Optimus Prime. And he's black and gold, and he's based on the Nucleon Quest Optimus Prime that Toys R Us Japan released way back in like 2000.
Nice.
So that was my pickup for the week. Well, I bought it like 2 weeks ago, but it finally came in this week. So
Is it that one with the? Is it that one with like he has a little comes with a little skateboard with a little headmaster?
yeah, and the little headmaster's name is Shredicus Maximus.
Yes, I actually have that box set. It's sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and the cool thing is this Optimus Prime. He comes with like Trans said, he comes with a skateboard for the little Titan Master guy and stuff, and he's got this half pipe that you can make with some accessories and stuff. But the really cool thing is that half pipe turns into a rail gun that can sit on this Optimus Prime shoulder. So if your Optimus Prime really needed to mess something up really quick, this would be the Prime to get. So
Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome.
I agree with you on that.
Crimson, what'd you get this week?
So I got nothing because I spent all my money on C-Cons. That's what I got. However, I did look up and see what Brobdingnag means, and it's actually a fictional land in Jonathan Swift's 1726 satirical novel Gulliver's Travels, occupied by giants. That is quite the stretch for Magic Square to use as a name. But it does say on here, a little bit of trivia here, is the adjective Brobdingnagian has come to describe anything of colossal size. So he's a
Brobdingnagian.
Yeah.
It's Brobdingnagian. Brobdingnagian.
Oh, okay, cool.
Brobdingnagian.
Hey, the more you know.
I still say it wrong.
If you've ever watched the Justice League, the question says that word a couple of times. That's the only reason I know it. Anyway, so anything else there, Crimson Raptors? And hello, Ida.
Nope.
Okay, and
what about you,
as for me, I got in some stuff from one from my brother. I got a Generation 1 reissue Soundwave, Walmart reissue Soundwave. I got in Studio Series Shockwave, which is pretty cool. Upgrade kits for Ratchet and that Shockwave, and a ton of Earthrise figures, as well as another reflector, which was really cool because I only had one. Well, now I have more. I just killed a wasp. Sorry, I'm back.
Was it a red wasp?
No, just the yellow jack. So.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Just the yellow and black variety.
The red
Anyway,
ones are the ones that, like if they ever made a red Waspinator, I don't know if I could buy that figure.
Too close to home. So
Trauma.
There you go. Ida says the hoverboard looks like Danielle's from the movie.
Oh,
the
that's a good call right there. It does.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
He's talking about the hoverboard, the skateboard that comes in that box set that I got with Shredicus Maximus.
Yep.
That is, yeah. I'm looking at the board right now. Dead on. Absolutely.
Yep. Dead on.
Now I got to find a picture of that.
Yep. So, in some news, I wanted to share with everyone. It looks like TF Nation is going to be doing a broadcast since obviously the convention was canceled. So they're going to be doing a broadcast, as everybody can see here on your screens, which is pretty cool. I saw this earlier today, too, which is a Studio Series Devastator box set. And now that looks interesting to me. It saves me from, trying to find the rest of them separately, if indeed it comes out. What do you guys think?
That for me would be a hard pass.
I'm not surprised.
I do need to get him at least. I need to finish getting the limbs. I'm not worried about the box set though.
Yep. And
I think I'm gonna
Cadmus
leave.
going to be, guys. My special guest is going to be joining us shortly in a few minutes, which is Tattimus Prime. So we
Hey,
got to hurry up through the news. We got to hurry up through the news so we can get him in here. So, let's see. Everybody has probably heard about Fred Willard passing, and that is really sad.
Yeah, I had to look up and see kind of what he had done. I know he'd done, all kinds of 80s and 90s stuff, and he's a super nice guy, apparently, in person and on screen. But he did animated Swindle for Transformers, but I think he did some other character as well. But I was just like, man, I kind of remember animated Swindle because he was kind of a big part in that show for just a little bit, but I couldn't quite remember what the voice sounded like, and I had a hard time finding clips of it.
Yep, be right. And then I also saw you guys talked about this a little bit last night on Tales from Teletran. Input, tell everybody about Tales of Teletran real quick.
well, it's a podcast that me and Crimson Raptors and Cato's Collection and Roland Redneck Reviews, we all do over on my channel every Saturday night from 7 to 9 Central Standard Time. And that's PM. That's not AM. That is at night, not in the morning, because as, well, Transformer fans and geeks and nerds in general, normally I don't think anybody's awake at 7 a.m. at that point, especially here lately. So,
there you go.
But yeah, we cover the news, we go over our pickups, and we review the episodes in chronological order. And we have started with the G1 cartoon, and we are, as of this week, we were on episode 24. We've reviewed all of them up to episode 24 so far, with no signs of slowing down. And we have special guest hosts and stuff almost every week, it feels like, at this point.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, and then you guys talked a little bit about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, we had Danny Dolphin on the show last night, and she is super awesome. Not just on screen, but also afterwards, like before and after the show. Like we were talking for a little bit. She's super awesome. If you haven't subscribed to Danny Dolphin, definitely subscribe to her because she is a really cool person.
Indeed,
Absolutely.
she is awesome.
Agree.
Indeed. Let's see. Oh, Darkonan, welcome. And you guys talked a little bit about this Xiaomi China store exclusive, the Neza Transformer Prime built. And by the way, Crimson, you butchered the name Xiaomi last night. I had trouble following the show from then on because it bothered me. So Xiaomi, say it, Xiaomi. Xiaomi.
I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about?
Xiaomi. Come on, say it. You see it right there on the screen. Say it. Say it, Xiaomi.
Actually,
I didn't say that.
I said that because
Yeah,
I
that was
don't speak Chinese. I don't speak Chinese. So my bad, Ninja. Jesus.
No, I thought.
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi. Okay. Anyway, I think it's really, really cool. Here's the thing, though. In some Facebook groups today,
At least I tried.
yes, you did. People were actually complaining not about the figure, the fact that it had a girl beside the figure. I'm not kidding.
And that's why Facebook is evil.
I'm not even joking a little. Well, what's she doing there? She doesn't belong there. How many times how often you see some broad, that was the term used, broad, with Transformer toys. And I'm like, oh my God, really? Where do you people come from?
Can we go ahead and officially call Facebook a dumpster fire for fandoms at this point?
I'm telling you. And they also released the information on a few of the Takara Tomy Mall exclusives. You have Fusor and Blastmaster and Deluxe Airwave. So we'll click on that real quick and show everybody what that looks like. If it wants to go there. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. No, it doesn't want to do it. There we go.
Here's my thing with the Fusor term. I don't know if that's an actual G1 name for those characters, but I might end up. This might be me skipping ahead in the news a little bit, but I'm thinking because Cheetor is a whole Walmart thing that there's all of that, and Fusor or Fuser might actually be like a hint, or maybe they're trying to copyright the term Fusor, and they can't, so they use Fuser or something, maybe to get like some kind of Beast Wars thing to get copyrighted or something, so they can move forward with like the next wave or maybe the wave after that. They can kind of have that under their belts, trademark.
So they have the Fusor, you know, of course we know that's ZOR, but this is like almost like I keep wanting to say Fuzzer or because it doesn't have two E's, but it's ER, right? But his original G1 name was Phaser, so that's like the whole Whisper situation where they're trying to get close to Fuzzer to Phaser to Fusor. So I don't know, Fuser. I guess we just have to call it Fuser. But
and what do you guys think about this on screen? I like it. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I like it. I dig
it. Well, I had mentioned last night that I said that this is not only is this hilarious, but also that the hooves have blue little horseshoes on it, or like they're not like the gray, they're not like a different color, they're not black, they're actually blue for the hands, and yet it still has the knees or quote unquote elbows that are silver, just like kind of like the Platinum Edition and the Earthrise Optimus Prime. So they're kind of keeping with that aesthetic. Although one thing I didn't mention was that they had the tires on the legs on the back.
Yeah,
but
right there.
They didn't put the tires on the. I keep wanting to say her because of the hair, but they didn't put the tires on the butt, which would be like a Studio Ox reference as well.
Here's my question.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
Here's my question.
Yes.
There's a companion piece coming out with that, and her name is Plasmane, and it's a Ghostbusters My Little Pony crossover.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. My God.
Are you in for that one, buddy? I am. I'm in for both.
No.
Well, I will be the one lone brony up here, and I'm okay with that.
Look, I like it. I'm not going to pick it up. And he just said, I'm a member of the Facebook TFWiki page. We do well, as Shinobi Bill can attest, and that is very true. For those of you who don't know, it's one of the larger Transformer communities there on Facebook. One of several I belong to, and one of my favorite groups. I post in there daily, and along with thousands of other people, and it's a great group. So I may include a link after the show. I may not. I may forget. I'm old. What do you expect? Let's see here. Cronin, by the way, welcome. Firebite 27, welcome. In case I forgot to welcome you, I said it's weird. It's like trying to cram a shoe onto your head and expecting it to fit. But if I were an MLP, I might think it was cool.
Hey, they put the little crest on that My Little Pony. They went all out on where they should put those decals. So that's pretty good that they at least they went full brony, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
I give them props for trying to do it. I see they're trying to expand their market for it.
If they make an Ultra Magnus pony, I may be in for that.
Oh,
I'll say that right now.
What if they make an
Shockwave?
MLP?
Have they made a Shockwave one yet?
No, not
I
yet.
I already have an MLP RC drawing, so I'm not sure I'm up for a figurine. Those are like the those, by the way, remind me of I forget what the toys were that you could buy and forget it. Point is they're pretty cool. I'm not picking one up. They're cool. I'm not picking one up. But yeah, that's pretty much all I need to cover for that. Now, I will say that you guys talked about the Legends manga last night, so I'm a little late. And yes, if people are saying, wait a minute, wasn't this stuff covered just last night? Well, if you feel like I may or may not copy some of my material from Tales from Teletran every Saturday night is where you can find it, you may be wrong. They actually take what I use tonight and use it next week. That's how it
The
works.
truth,
That's
the truth
exactly
shall
how
set
it
you
works.
free, Ninja Bill.
or I make copies of them. I make copies.
You know,
of them.
honestly, we copy our news from like TFW, Tformer, Sabertron.com, and any weeaboo posting we can find. So
Pretty much.
it's all up for grabs.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so, for tonight's main topic, as soon as we get our guest in here, hello, Tattimus. Welcome to NinjaBill and Friends. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am doing well, and so everybody, welcome in Tattimus for his triumphant return to the screen.
Hey, Tatty, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Is there a
Welcome.
way to make this screen bigger?
Yes, I can enlarge you. There you go.
I don't need me enlarged.
There you go.
On your screen, the Tattimus Prime, on your screen, you can, if you go letterbox, that helps a little bit, but it's kind of hard to do on a mobile device.
Yeah.
Like that should make things a little bit bigger.
But,
Oh yeah, that didn't do fucking shit, did it?
man, I'm kind of having some beard envy going on over here, Tatty. I don't know what to tell you, man. I almost can't look at you. You too pretty with that beard, man.
I still got about another foot and a half, or no, about half a foot yet before I'm back to normal.
There you go. I got some beard envy going on here, and I'm trying. It's not quite there yet. It's just getting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. Taking its time, slowly but surely. Happens when you get old. Blah blah blah. Anyway, Cadmus. Since you're just joining us, tell everybody where they can find you.
Fuck. I've been in hiding for the last 7 months, man.
That sounds interesting.
You can find me on fucking YouTube, Tattimus Prime. You can find me on Facebook, Daniel Pierce. Send me a friend request. I'll accept it. Sit and shoot shit. That's about all.
Awesome. And so, Tatty, I know you can't really tell us what you've gotten lately, as it needs to be for later reviews, but I kind of know what you've gotten. But anything you can tell us that's been that you've received that you really, really like?
Oh fuck, dude. They're fucking all amazing. I'm amazed at how all of you guys as a community have come together to help a brother when he's down, you know. And but yeah, I mean I can tell you guys what I got now so far, because I'm gonna do just a video showing them off, because I'm gonna get behind and I'd like to start reviewing these sons of bitches at one point. I did get the Earthrise Optimus Prime from Larkin, which amazing. I talked to him already in person. Well, not in person, but via phone. Yeah, that's the only one I have a fucking defect with too, and that sucks.
Oh, the Earthrise Optimus?
Yeah,
Is it missing the headlights?
No. Well, yeah, they're not painted. Or no. The headlights are there. But where the hinge, when he's in robot mode, that's right in front of his face, under his chin, that seam and that pin, where that pin goes through, it's fractured and ready to fucking snap at any moment.
Oh, that's
And that's one of the hardest parts to get. You know, you're flipping 3 and 4 different things in it, so it's got a lot of torque on it. Not a lot, but it's snagging on another part, and first time I transformed it about fucking snapped off. I was like, fuck.
Oh, wow, man. That sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad. Mine has stretch marks on transforming it.
What's
Oh,
that?
yours did too?
Mine has stretch marks when I transformed it a couple times.
No shit, in the same spot?
Are you talking about where the shoulders come up, like his chest unfolds?
Yeah. I don't know how
It's like his shoulders. It's just his shoulders and his front of his chest don't want to line up. Yeah, right there. Yep.
You see the white. It's didn't focus because it's a shit camera, but
Yeah, they could have spaced those out a little bit better on that figure.
Yep, that pissed me off. I was kind of bummed. But man, I'm not going to talk more about it because I want to do it for safe review. But it's a figure, one that I never thought I'd ever have in my possession.
He's still hard to get right now. I mean, their Astro Train is quickly becoming hard to find as well, and it's got to be just due to the lack of quantity of figures that are out there.
I do have an extra one.
What, one per crate?
But Trans Aaron, that siege one's for me.
I'm not sure if you wanted it.
Web Junior 1977, he says, is there any news about a new Transformers movie coming out at all? And to be honest, I haven't been paying attention.
There was rumors about it. The same
we were
guy
talking about a Beast Wars one, but I don't think those are going to happen.
The Beast Wars
They need
movie?
to continue the Bumblebee movie.
I bet you we wait and see what happens with the Netflix cartoon and see what happens with that.
Yeah, I'm betting that's going to be the next movie. In June.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put a new banner up on my channel too, advertising it because I found some art for it.
Welcome back, TFfangeek.
Hi. So I can't stay long. I have to eat dinner with my family, NinjaBill, but...
Eat? What's that?
Yeah.
Eating.
Well, it's 6 o'clock where I live, so yeah, I have to go.
There you go.
Don't you have a stack of Energon goodies? That's what we're supposed to be all eating.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when I was 14 years old, I did have some, but we had a storm, and an entire colony of ants decided to move into the attic, and we had ants in the house for almost a month. So ever since then, I've taken a precaution to never leave food lying around anymore.
Oh, hexagonal nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Hexagonal nuts, indeed.
Yeah, I did find. So technically, I didn't think I'd have the chance to say it. I did technically buy a Transformers figure this week. It's the Transformers Authentics Bravo 4-inch Bumblebee figure, and this was originally being sold at Ollie's stores for $3.99, and my Rite Aid pharmacy wanted $6.99 for it, and they even had the old Ollie's price tag covered with a white sticker. I managed to take that white sticker off, and when I showed them at the front, they charged me only $4 for it.
You sneaky person.
I know.
Very sneaky and very good.
Absolutely.
It's like my Family Dollar actually has those the Authentics ones with the Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Grimlock. That oversized Soundwave I actually understandably found. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah. Yeah, I only need to get Starscream, and they just came out with Ratchet, so I only need those two to have them all. I technically did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I technically.
Darkonan asked TFfangeek. Darkonan asked, "Oh no, is that another one of those Transformers that are like Happy Meal toys?"
Yes, it is Darkonan. It is.
Yep. And for tonight's show topic, I have a question that each and every one of you will hopefully be able to answer it. And that question for tonight's topic is, what is the most underrated figure, in your opinion, in the original cartoon? And we will go clockwise, starting with Crimson Raptors.
You mean underrated Generation 1 toy?
Yeah,
or
underrated.
A figure of a character from Generation 1?
Yeah, sure, why not? What is the most underrated character in your opinion? There you go.
I would say if without really any time to prep, but right off the top of my head, I gotta say Skids would be, because Skids, I actually had just recently watched a review of Generation 1 Skids, and his feet actually fold underneath, his tires actually fold underneath his feet. And when I saw that, I was like, that is a very modern thing to do. Like, that's like something that to hide that he's a vehicle in the robot mode is really unusual. And he's definitely kind of an outlier in that respect. And there wasn't a remold of him. There wasn't a repaint for any other character in the show. And I got to say Skids is probably the most underrated. Plus, he wasn't really focused much in the show. And the reasons for that are that he was supposed to be in the original lineup of the cars. That didn't happen. It got pushed back. And because Grapple was going to be in there. That's why we see Holler in the first episode. And then that didn't happen with Grapple because it wasn't ready yet or something, whatever. And then he got put into the next lineup. But then by the time they got like his profile and everything done, he just wasn't in the cartoon. So he was only in there for like a couple episodes.
2 episodes.
So, and had 2 different voices.
I know he was in that one with the triple takeover.
Yep. It had like a football football voice, a football coach voice, and then in the the robotic and the Insecticons? No, it wasn't that one. But it was the one with the robotic insecticide. Like that. Then he had like a British voice. So go figure.
Yeah.
I would say Skids. That would be my
Skids is a good character. I do like him. I bought quite a few. I have the G1 toy, I have the Generations toy, and I have the Alternators one. And I think probably the Alternators, even though he doesn't really look anything like the G1 toy, is probably my favorite.
Yeah, he doesn't. He gets a lot of weapons too. So I mean, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck on that figure as well.
Yeah, well, except the Alternators one, he only comes with one. His engine becomes a little pistol thing, so he's not very well accessorized, but he does, in my opinion, well, I think I like him because he has a very clever transformation. I think that's why I like it the best.
Yeah, it's a really cool transformation. I like it.
So, input, you're next.
Well, first I'll say, hey, Dragonfly, how's it going? And are we talking toys? I'm still confused. Are we talking toys or are we talking cartoon characters?
Just in general.
All of them.
Yeah.
I would say I would go with a toy, and I would say G1 Windsweeper. So basically,
never heard of him.
So he's got a gimmick where these cannons are kind of spring loaded and they come sweeping out from underneath his wings, so to speak. And he's really basic transformation and stuff. I just really think the gimmick is really cool. These, the weapons just spring forward and stuff.
Yeah, TriggerCon, right? I think that's what he was part of.
Yeah. And I just think he's really cool. And I think we did get an update figure from BotCon or TFCC and whatever, all that stuff. But I think he's overdue for another one. And there's, like I said, it's just the gimmick, man. It's like the what is it? The fire cons or the spark starters, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's all about the gimmick, right? And I really love that gimmick that Windsweeper has. I don't know why. It's just something that I would definitely play with as a kid and just absolutely fall in love with as a kid. So it really kind of speaks to me.
Awesome. And that means Tattimus, you were next, or yeah.
Oh fuck! I don't even have a clue, man.
And by the way, Kato has beard envy there, Tattimus. He has beard envy going on. Inutabi, welcome. And Eddie Powell, welcome, by the way. Said, sup, first time here on the show. Welcome. But who do you think is the most underrated Transformers character there, Tattimus?
We're going from the animation, right?
Whichever you want.
I don't know, man. It's really hard because, man, I really want to say fucking. Damn, he was popular though. The original leader of the fucking. God, my brain just went dead on me.
Hey, it happens.
Original leader of the Records, Impactor.
Oh, Impactor. Oh, yeah. Is he underrated though? I mean nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't prevalent in the American cartoon, but he was in the UK Marvel and shit like that, wasn't he?
Yep. And then
one for me to pick. I can't really think of any of them that I consider really that they underrated them.
Nice.
The ones that didn't really get a lot of spotlight were ones that I didn't really care about anyway, so I can't really count those.
And TFfangeek.
Well, I was going to say the two jump starters, Top Spin and Twin Twist, because they've never appeared in a cartoon, but they appeared in quite a few comic books, as Tattimus Prime said, because they were members of the Wreckers. So as far as who are the biggest underdogs, I'd have to say it's a three-way tie between all three of the Power Dashers. I found out they didn't appear in any comic books until, I think, the last decade, and only Cromar actually had his name revealed in the one comic book they appeared in that was released by IDW. The other Power Dashers, Zatar and Aragon, they were not officially named until Hasbro released the Siege figures last year in 2019. And considering the fact that they were released as mail order exclusives back in 1984 and they weren't named until 35 years after the figures of them were released, yeah, I'd say they definitely have an underdog status compared to other Transformers characters.
I did not know that. That's sort of like the Omnibots aren't really well known. They were also mail-away exclusives back in the day.
Yeah. And the thing is, the Omnibots, they were more like miniature sports cars. And a lot of people wanted the Omnibots before the Power Dashers, and so most of the Power Dashers actually went unsold. Oh, because everyone wanted the Omnibots first because of the Transformers phrase robots in disguise, and the Power Dashers vehicle modes, they didn't really look like miniaturized versions of real-life cars. So that's why everyone went for the Omnibots. Back in
what were you saying, Crimson?
No, I was saying, like, we definitely need a modern interpretation or modern figures of the Omnibots, because that would work great with bringing obscure characters to the forefront that haven't had any love in them like decades.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this real quick about the Omnibots. When they do get made, please, for the love of God, Hasbro, do not name the RX-7 crankshaft, please. Give him his Japanese name of Downshift, please. You know?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. I have to agree. I hadn't even thought about it until you mentioned it, but yes.
I'm the opposite. I want that.
And Trans Aaron 38, how about you?
You guys just already covered the Omnibots. You already beat me to it.
Oops,
The Omnibots need the Omnibots need more recognition. The mail-away ones, I was like.
For me, it's Sandstorm. I think he's an underrated figure and character. I do. He hasn't had a lot of love. Well, he's had more than most, but still, I think he's what I've always loved. I guess the reason why I liked him so much is I love his colors. He's got some basic colors that work really, really well together. And I just like, I I identified with him in the cartoon where he was kind of like playing sort of in the middle. He didn't want to really do what the Autobots were doing, but he doesn't want to do what the Decepticons are doing either. He's somewhere in the middle, and I like that. Now, apparently in the IDW comics, he was some sort of mad bot or betrayed the Autobots or some crap like that. I don't care. It's IDW continuity and therefore shit. I'm sorry if you enjoy the IDW comics, people out there. If you do, awesome. For me, though, they killed my love of anything going forward because right now, with the exception of one title, they're mostly crap.
Don't hold back, man. Tell us how you really feel.
I think the main problem with IEW is they tried to see how many times they could jump the shark with how they told stories about certain characters and completely disregarded how the characters have been portrayed in the past. And I think that's why there's a divide with IDW's comic books. You either love them or you hate them. There's not much middle ground with it because of all the jaw-dropping things they tried to do, such as, make Ultra Magnus an exosuit like a Gundam, or make Megatron an Autobot. I mean, that was a jaw-dropping moment for me when I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, Ninja. I think that Sandstorm was definitely an underrated character. I really love Sandstorm.
Oh, and that Generations figure was amazing. I mean, sure, it was a retool and remold of Springer, who I didn't bother to pick up. But when that Sandstorm came out, man, I grabbed that thing up, and he's my stand-in, and probably will be until if they issue a new one in Earthrise. I'm not sure I would buy one, because that Generations version is fantastic. It fixed all the problems. Yeah. It fixed all the problems that the Springer had. And it's just it's an amazing. He's the right scale. I think it's a great figure.
Mm-hmm. And the transformation was fun on it too.
Oh yeah. He says I think Sandstorm killed my interest in the Thrilling 30 figure. Really? Well, I can't blame you. I mean, it is IDW, and my problem with IDW is this. Okay. I like and agree with artistic license, okay? I'm all good with that. But when you take that artistic license and use it to beat the head in of original material, then I have a problem with it. And that's exactly what they done. They just beat the shit.
Or the Izzy and Bold New Era, because I haven't got to the part where I get to see him in the old IDW yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, and Input and I have had this similar discussion previously in shows past about what really killed it for me is how they portrayed Star Saber, okay, and other characters, like how they portrayed Ironhide, how they portrayed Mirage. The list goes on, where they took an artistic license, they've absolutely beaten the hell out of the original character's bio and then tossed it into a dumpster fire. And that killed it for me. I cannot appreciate that. I get artistic license, but when you just absolutely destroy something, I'm not with it.
Yeah, my thing was like for the longest time, I didn't know, I didn't really understand the hate for the IDW books, and because I read them pretty much from the onset, and then Star Saber happened in IDW, and I'm a huge Star Saber fan, and I'm also under the impression of this is IDW's story. It's not, Sunbow's story. This is a different G1. It's a different universe. It's it's completely different. So all these characters can be different. But me being a huge Star Saber fan, when he comes in and he gets greatest swordsman in the universe, gets sliced in half by Cyclonus while he's in jet mode. And he's this almost like this religious zealot. And
those are my words exactly.
Yeah, and you don't get, you don't get a lot of Star Saber love in the States as it is. You don't really get a lot of Star Saber love in general. So when Star Saber shows up, it's almost you have this expectation for what he's going to be and what he's going to do and all this other kind of stuff. And then, 4 or 5 issues later, he's cut in half. That's when I started to realize, okay, now I get why people aren't liking the IDW stuff.
Well, wasn't Ricochet from IDW also?
No, Ricochet was a G1 character. He debuted as a toy, but he was in the Japanese manga. He was a partner to Artfire, and he pretty much went relatively unknown, or not wouldn't say unknown, but
pretty
relatively
much.
Yeah, pretty much unknown. Yeah, he was like super underground.
Well, he was known as Stepper back then.
Yeah.
But the
His name still is
I got to change my opinion for underrated as for Ricochet. That's got to be my pick because it's an amazing storyline. The Japanese storyline behind him is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude is so fucked up that his dude's a fucking respirator type thing for him, or a ventilator, just to keep him. It keeps him alive. His Target Master does. So I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool.
His Generation Selects toy, which is of the Power of the Prime's Jazz, like that Generation Selects toy is really, really good. I don't know why it's so cheap online. It's like less than $20 to get it, but it's definitely worth the price of admission.
I agree.
Definitely, I have it. It's awesome.
Yeah. I have the reissue of the G1, and I love that motherfucking mold. That is just
one thing I've always liked about Ricochet is that his paint job it's not entirely, but I'd say about 75 to 80% of it, it's an inverted paint job from Jazz. All the parts on Jazz that were white are now black on Ricochet, and all the parts on Jazz that were black, they're white on Ricochet. So
Ricochet rooted in gold too.
Yeah, Ricochet almost Takara told me when designing Ricochet, they almost went with an inverted paint job on him when designing him. And one thing I remember about the original Generation 1 version of Ricochet, because of how it transforms, his Target Master couldn't plug on top of him in vehicle mode, but they did add a new peg on the shoulder so the Target Master could be used as a shoulder cannon. So that's how Ricochet held his Target Master originally.
I did not know that. Cool.
Yeah, because I think the hands on Jazz, I think they were only 4 millimeters instead of 5 millimeters, and so the Target Master that was partnered with Ricochet couldn't quite be inserted into the fist. That's what
wasn't that because the fists on the original Jazz were too small to have a 5 millimeter? I'm wondering if that's the issue.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Say that again. I didn't quite hear you.
The Ricochet that I have will hold the Target Master.
Is that the G1 version?
It's the reissue of the G1, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the reissue, they were given larger fists. Because I think on the original Generation 1 version of Jazz, I think the hands were slightly smaller. I could be incorrect, but...
I didn't think they changed anything when they reissued them.
Or maybe Generation 1 Jazz didn't have open fists. I don't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But,
they'll change them from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Web Junior Set 1977 says, one of my favorite Transformers is Ironhide. And I hated that they killed him off in the movie, and well, as they killed off everyone to make room for the new toy line. So it was primarily to sell toys, and I agree somewhat. I did like the cartoon Ironhide better than the toy. The faceless toy, even though he did kind of have this face seat. Everybody sat on his face when they got inside of him. And that's a whole nother discussion for Pornhub. But anyway,
the headless wonders that were Ironhide and Ratchet. Need I say more?
But,
one thing I wanted to bring up is we kind of passed over it was the Sandstorm is that I want to say in the original cartoon Wally Blur was, the sound director, did a fantastic job in making sure, each character kind of had a different voice and it kind of flowed with them and everything. If there was anyone that I didn't think quite his voice actor fit the character, it would be Sandstorm himself, because, I knew about the Transformers Universe profile, but I never really thought Sandstorm's voice in the original cartoon fit the look of that character. Especially when he was talking to Octane, who was supposed to be Blitzwing, but I think it was Ghost in the Machine, I think is the one where he's Octane and Sandstorm are together.
Yep.
Just chilling.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I felt like that voice, or maybe at least that episode, right? The Fighter Fleet episode, maybe that fit Sandstorm better, but it just seemed like it didn't fit well in Ghost in the Machine for him.
Yeah.
He came off too much like the kiddie Hot Rod to me in a way.
And in this profile, he's kind of supposed to be like that. Like, he's supposed to be kind of rough, but he's also supposed to be very, I would almost think kind of Springer-like, but like a younger Springer, if that makes sense, is what I got a feeling for.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yep.
It's like he's the same age as Hot Rod, but he's a lot more mature and more concerned with helping his fellow Autobots.
Right.
Yeah, I've always felt that he was an underrated character, and I would love to get a hold of his G1 toy someday. And if they release a new version of Earthrise, I changed my mind. I would probably pick one up if they had the helicopter and managed to do both helicopter and dune buggy well. If they managed to do that, I would definitely pick it up. Because the Thrilling 30s Generations version does both modes, all three modes, really well. So, but that'd be my only concern is that, because I've seen what they've done with the triple changes so far, and I'm impressed. All right, but I'd be a little worried about the ground vehicle mode of Sandstorm, and the helicopter mode in Earthrise. I'd be somewhat worried, but I don't know. I've never really seen a good official masterpiece version of it, because I doubt Takara has done one, but or have they? I don't think so.
Say it. Wait, say it again.
I said I'm not sure that Takara has done a Sandstorm yet in a masterpiece. Have they?
No. I haven't done any triple changers.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Was Trax a masterpiece figure?
Do a Blitzwing, but it didn't happen, or hasn't happened anyway.
But there's a lot of
a masterpiece.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
You're not into third-party shit, though, are you?
Yeah, people saw my Facebook post today. I said, I think I'm being radicalized. I'm considering picking up that Commander of the Stars figure, and yeah, the more I look at it, the more I want it. And I'm like, oh man.
I'm on a really tight budget this year, and so my focus is completely on Earthrise. In fact, today I finally paid off my Amazon pre-order of Earthrise Skylink. So now all I have to do, I paid off Earthrise Skylink. So now all I have to do is wait for the day when Amazon emails me that they're sending it to me.
Awesome, dude! Congratulations.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, I calculated that with my budget, next month in June, I can pay off the rest of my pre-orders for Wave 2, which is the Quintesson Judge, Alicon, Airwave, Smokescreen, and RC. And the money I have left over and my Transformer money for the month of July, I'll be able to pay off Scorponok by the time he gets released.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, what's the Quintesson Judge coming from? Where's that? Who's making that?
I'm sorry, Tattimus, I didn't
understand. Yeah, Hasbro Earthrise.
Yeah.
No shit. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the Quintesson Judge is going to be a Voyager class-sized action figure in the Earthrise line. The Quintesson Judge Yeah, the Quintesson Judge transforms. I believe it's a torture chamber and a jail cell.
You can put a little Minicon in it or a little Micromaster.
Micromaster. Yeah. Yeah.
Favorite Transformers of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the Alicon that's in the deluxe class, and we had the Sharkticon Gnaw in the Cyberverse, but kind of that was like an upscaled Legends version that we got back in Combiner Wars for the Sharkticon. But this Alicon is just built just for Earthrise, and then there's a second one that uses the Season 3 mist colors that ACOM Studio did. That's like in Five Faces of Darkness and some of the other episodes. And that one has a lot more pink on it. It actually looks better than the regular colored one from the movie, in my opinion. But I think that's a Takara Tomy mall exclusive that we talked about last night on the show. And then there's another Quintesson that's coming on Tales from Television on Input's channel in -PUT on Saturdays.
Why don't you tell them what time we air too? I mean, you're doing such a good job.
Central to Standard Time to 9 p.m. ish sometimes. Anyway, but there's a deluxe version. No, we almost got it down pat. But there's another deluxe version that's listed as Quintesson that's been found in the Walmart listings. I think it's not a recolored Alicon, because if it was, they'd say Alicon. But I think that may be the Prosecutor, which is the one with like the HR Giger alien head and the green tentacles on the side that Slag squishes. When
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I think that may be the deluxe version, because that would make sense from if the Judge is a Voyager and the Prosecutor is a deluxe. The problem is he doesn't transform into anything, right? So I don't know how they're going to figure that out.
Technically, the Quintesson Judge didn't either. I think that was really innovative of Hasbro and Takara Tomy to give the Quintesson Judge a transformation from just the standard Quintesson Judge body to a torture chamber. I think that was a little ingenious move on their part, giving the Quintesson Judge an alternate mode.
I always think it's funny that so there's plenty of action figures in the stores, right? But for the Transformers brand, Hasbro has been very much like they convert from one mode to another. That's how they get into be a Transformers branded figure. But if this is the Prosecutor and there's not a way to swap parts out or turn them into the Quintesson Scientist or something, then I feel like that might be I mean, we've had to build a figure. We got the McAdams and we got Transmutate. So we've had stuff that hasn't transformed. That's part of the Transformer lore, but and Action Masters. But I'm wondering if this is if it is a Prosecutor, I'm wondering if it's something that they're going to try to see. Okay, will this sell even though it doesn't transform?
That's one possibility. But didn't the Prosecutors have different designs?
Mm-mm.
No, they were all the same.
Yep.
Okay. Could have sworn I saw in the Transformers Wikipedia that they had at least two different faces.
Or I just.
Real quick. Web Junior 1977 in chat asks us. I know it's a hard question, but what are your guys' favorite Transformers of all time? We'll start with Crimson.
So, I mean, of course, there's Optimus Prime and Megatron, but if it's Autobot Decepticon, it's a very strong battle between Ultra Magnus and Shockwave for me.
Nice.
Generation 1 versions.
Input?
Do I have to pick only one?
He did not specify, so go for it.
God, man, that's a really hard question.
I feel I've opened a door.
You know what? Okay, I'll just say Starscream, and I'll let somebody else go.
No. Go ahead. Don't go. No. You start. Go ahead. Finish. Get it all out, Input. Get it all out. Tell the world.
All right, so here we go. We got Megatron, we got Starscream, we got Jazz, we got Blaster, we've got the cassettes, all of them because they're cassettes. We've got Star Saber, we've got the Breast Force, we got God Jinrai, Yeah, Lyle Kaiser. Jesus, Fort Max, Grand Max, Fire Convoy. There's I can't forget the Stunterons.
Stunteron.
Yeah, there's the Stunterons. Sorry, I say their Japanese name. Just use the English version instead of the English. Yeah, there's just a lot, man. It's always super hard for me to pick one. So that's why I said if I'll just go with Starscream and let somebody else go. So
why isn't Star Saber on that list?
Star Saber is on that list. I said Star Saber.
Yeah, he did say him. He did say him. You just weren't paying attention. That's all.
I must have heard Starscream multiple times.
Yeah, the entire list was Starscream.
Trans Aaron 38, go ahead.
Mine. I'm basically like input. There is like I'm just like but Smokescreen will be my my number one. No, Smokescreen's always my favorite character, but I always like the other characters. I always like the hard to come up to go past Smokescreen would always be God Jinrai, Overlord, and King Poseidon. I know it's six characters all in one, but it's one character. You know what I mean? It's like King Poseidon, but and as always, Astro Train was always my favorite triple changer. So,
rock on, dude.
Yep, and TFfangeek.
Well, Optimus Prime is my all-time favorite, but there's quite a few that come pretty close. Most of my favorite Autobots are the ones that have red, white, and blue paint jobs. Got Jinrai, Ultra Magnus, Fortress Maximus, Great Shot, Smokescreen. Trying to think of others that have red, white, and blue paint jobs, but
probably Skids.
Yeah, I guess to a point. But
yeah, and then there's Skids. It's like an afterthought. And Skids. I guess we can add them in there if we must.
Yeah, Star Saber definitely. But then for Decepticons, Megatron and Galvatron for certain. Skywarp is my favorite Seeker. Shockwave and Soundwave are at the top, and then one of my favorite Decepticons is Nemesis Prime.
And Skids, he's the last kid on the court when everybody's picking for the basketball team, I guess.
He was in 1985.
He's like, everybody, you, well, what about me? Oh, I guess you go over there.
Bro, I can hear Skids right now. Don't you guys remember me? Remember me? I'm in the reunion book. Oh, there you are.
I'm insecticide, and that's all I got claimed for fame.
Tattimus Prime, how about you?
Well, fuck, everybody done took all of them. G1 Wheelie, man.
Oh,
really?
Really? Can't really be.
Yeah, Wheelie. I'm being really serious here.
Fine, look behind.
I like
Him is so brave.
I got to go with my Fort Max, seeing as how it's my holy grail, you know. But I love
Him is
Optimus
so brave.
Prime.
Willie, his fave.
Optimus Prime is always going to be everybody's favorite because he was the one that we looked up to and got morals from, and he was the John Wayne of the Transformers, man.
Transform, head on.
For me, it's a toss-up. My favorite Decepticon is easily Shockwave. My favorite Autobot is easily Ratchet. I know not a lot of people are big Ratchet fans, but I am a huge Ratchet fan. I've said this before on other occasions that there's just something about ambulance mode Transformers, like First Aid, Ratchet, Minerva, to a certain extent, just something about those I really, really like. So, and Shockwave is just because if Shockwave felt like it, at any moment he could just absolutely murder the shit out of virtually any other Transformer in existence just because he suddenly felt it was logical to do.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised in all the years he's existed, Shockwave's never found it logical to give himself a second eyeball.
Yeah. No, I think he enjoys it. I guess IDW went into those reasons, or it's never really said in the cartoon or in the original comics. That's just the way he is, and he's accepted it. It's like somebody with one leg. They've just accepted it. That's who he is, and he'll murder you if he feels like it. That's
hindsight 2020, right?
Yeah. There you go. But it's, for example, in the original Marvel comic, when he showed up on Earth, he was like, you know what, Megatron, you're a doofus. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of your shit. Go away. And then, beat the crap out of him right in front of all the Decepticons and made him go away. Go hang out in the corner, Megatron. Go sit in your corner. Go in the corner. Shut up. That was Shockwave. That he did that, and from that point forward, I was like, yes, he's my favorite Decepticon.
Yeah.
He was the Spock.
Yeah, he wasn't taking no shit.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And Ratchet, I really like his. He's a fun in the cartoon. And originally in the comic, he was just this fun-loving Autobot. He was humorous. He was, and I even loved his TF Prime version. The Contank and TF Animated, where he's just sort of this old cantankerous, medic, where he's seen it all, he's done it all, and he has got no problem telling you like it is or grumbling about like it is. So. I just like Ratchet. I do. I identify with him in many ways. I personally identify with his character. I guess that's why he's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
You said you like ambulance. You said you like ambulance modes there, right, Bill?
Yep.
I was like, did you ever pick up the Power Core Combiner one, Smolder with Chop or Chopster?
Yeah.
That was a cool toy.
But yes, I did, but it broke. Those things were fragile. It's probably one of the worst lines, and simultaneously a good concept. It was a great concept, but the toys were of poor quality. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, Huffer from that line is probably one of my favorites of that line, because he was the most solidly built one of the bunch. And I still have mine, and I still have quite a few. I have like the Dinobot one with what's his name, Stone,
Grimstone.
Yeah. And the only one other aspect I didn't like about the Power Core Combiners was just the basic drones. I did, we sort of got that same thing with the Energon Maximus Combiners. Where they were just drones and you only had one central bot, and I didn't quite like that idea.
It was definitely but it was it was the first time we'd had like a combiner since Beast Wars, and it was kind of them trying to relearn how to re-engineer that kind of technology again.
Yeah.
And I think if they had gone, with all those, have just the most basic of robot modes, it would have done better. But it was definitely something that was a shelf warmer even at the time that it came out, because who wants Transformers that don't transform? And that was kind of like, you get one great one, but people didn't want to take the chance on that you only got one great one because of the price point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the price point wasn't really that bad for the time. I mean, Power Core Combiners was back in what, 2010? 10? Yeah, 2010. But still, the price points weren't all that bad. I mean, I think I paid.
I remember it being like $20 or something like that when a deluxe was 10. So it was a little higher than I think people wanted to take a risk on.
Yeah.
Crazy prices. No.
Yeah, now we pay like, I mean, again, we all talk about crazy prices and stuff nowadays, but like, we're still not paying 1984 retail prices for figures. Like, we're still not paying what our parents paid for, or because with inflation and everything the way it is, right? Like we're still not paying what it was back in 84, 85. But what is happening now is we're also not getting one or two figures, right? We're getting the entire line of figures. So of course we're going to complain about the amount of money we're spending in that direction, right?
Exactly.
And what were you going to say, Transcend 38?
No, yeah, the price point. Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that.
Oh yeah, it's like one of those things. As a kid, to get, you got an Ironhide, fantastic, and then the kid next door got an Omega Supreme, and you're like, and so far up his ass with envy, it was ridiculous,
You'd be like, well, I got devastated.
So guys, I just calculated on my inflation calendar, and $10 back in 1984 is the equivalent of $24.68 today in 2020.
Yep.
Yeah. That would make G1 Optimus Prime about $110 if we were to buy it today.
Wow. Yeah.
That is correct. Imagine what Fort Max was. Fort Max was $100 back in the day, in the 80s. I think that was 89, 88.
87. He sold for $90.
One moment.
I can barely hear you.
Say that again, Tattimus.
Oh, I was thinking that this new Earthrise Optimus was about the same price as Optimus back in the day when he first came out.
He's 50% off.
Yeah.
Guys, I just calculated. Fortress Maximus retailed for $90 back in 1987, and in today's money, 2020, that's $203.13.
Holy crap!
So 150 Titans Return on Big Bad Toy Store is a great deal, then.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Hasbro were to release Generation 1 Fortress Maximus at the same price tag he had in 1987, which was $90 when adjusted for inflation, then a G1 reissue Fortress Maximus would probably sell for $200.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not in for the Scorponok. I'm going to be going for Omega because I still haven't got Omega from the Siege line, and I own every single official Omega Supreme toy ever produced, and so I need to get that one. But I'm not in. Scorponok has never been my favorite Titan in the first place. I didn't care for Zarek. It's not my bag. People love him. That's fantastic, and I can see why they really like him. I mean, like this new one coming out, the colors are sublime. It just pops everywhere you look. It just pops, but it's just not for me.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering
I think for a Scorponok is kind of like, I've watched Headmasters, and I've watched the Rebirth and everything. The Rebirth is as animated poorly as it was. Like, I just didn't feel a connection to that Scorponok character. And Headmasters made that character better, I think, in some respects, and was animated much, really well. But I still don't have an attachment to that. Even reading the Marvel comics, Scorponok and Fortress Maximus were in there a whole lot, and I still don't have an attachment to those two characters as much as I would Metroplex and Trypticon. And I don't think it's just because Metroplex is awesome and he's Autobot City, but also, or at least a large part of it, or that Trypticon is a dinosaur. I don't think those two things may have had a factor, but they shouldn't have a factor now. So. But those characters, Fortress Maximus and Scorponok, just, I don't know. It's something that they just don't kind of speak to me as characters themselves, that I would want such a large figure of them.
I think part of it has to do with the fact that their main gimmick, apart from being large, is that they're also headmasters, and I guess
the double headmasters.
Yeah, and I guess the headmasters concept, on its own, for standard-sized Transformers, it's been generally well received by Transformers fans, and Titans by themselves, with the only gimmick of them being that they're so much more enormous than other Transformers, that's been accepted by Transformers fans. But I guess blending them together, I guess most Transformers fans either they like the idea or they haven't really been too open to it. But I think what's been the main kicker for Fortress Maximus and Scorponok is that they were introduced right at the very end of the Transformers Generation 1 cartoon, and I think the origin stories for them in the rebirth, I think that was a little lackluster, that, the Nebulons and the Decepticons finally decide, okay, let's turn our city into a new Decepticon Titan, and then Spike and Cerebros by themselves decide to do the same with the other city that the Autobots had befriended the Nebulons with, and it's like there's Fortress Maximus out of nowhere.
I missed out on that Generations Metroplex because I had a choice between him and MP10, and I chose MP10 instead in Toys R Us. But I think if the rumors are true, if they are making another Metroplex for for next year, that's more cartoon accurate, I'm 100% into that, and I will not pass it up this time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Metroplex is the only Titan that's been released that I do not own. And when I missed out on Metroplex X, the one time I saw him at Toys R Us, I didn't have the money to get him. I went back a few months later with enough money to buy him, and he was sold out. And if we do get another Titan class Metroplex character that's more G1 accurate compared to the first version that was released in 2013, because that was based on IDW Metroplex, I definitely buy it.
You think he might be a repaint, fellas?
I think he's going to be a complete retool, because to make him look G1 accurate, they're going to have to change a lot on that. And even back then, if you kind of watch some of those interviews and stuff, they were excited about that he could transform to a battle station, but it kind of looked more like an aircraft carrier than a battle station.
Yeah.
So I think because they knew they were making Fortress Maximus. I mean, it's very clear that they knew that they were heading toward that direction. But because Metroplex was at the forefront of the IDW comics, they went with that design, which was actually kind of a one-off design in the comic. And other panels, other comics of Metroplex had a more G1 looking. So it kind of sucks that we didn't get that version. But but then it has a Fall of Cybertron voice chip in it. So it kind of confused a lot of people. Like, oh, that's a Fall of Cybertron. No, that Metroplex Fall of Cybertron's totally.
I didn't really like it how they did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add further there, gentlemen?
If I had to choose the next Commander class size Transformer to be released after Skylinks, I definitely go with Star Saber. The images I've seen of Skylinks and looking at my version of Siege Jetfire, the Commander class is definitely a decent size for Transformers that turn into large jet aircraft and spacecraft. So I definitely pick Star Saber to be the next Commander class sized figure. And as for the next Titan, I'd either have to go with a new version of Metroplex or Grandis. Even though he's an obscure character, Grandis definitely is worth a Titan class sized toy. Grandis will definitely be accepted, I think.
He'll be just a plastic box with some wheels on it.
Hey, we had Star Convoy. We got Super Megatron coming. We had Diatlas. I mean,
there's
big
a lot.
Power, it's not too far away to get a Grandis.
No,
well, and the thing is too with this new Commander class is there's a lot of characters that have been released that are smaller as far as scale goes than what they should be. Overlord, for example, should be Commander class. Star Saber would be Commander class. Anybody that would be the size of a combiner would be Commander class, right? So Diatlas would be Commander class, but they've already did a Diatlas. They already did an Overlord and stuff. So it really kind of brings up the question is the Commander class A too late? Or B, are we going to start getting a new Overlord? Are we going to get a Star Saber, a Victory Leo, a new Diatlas, a Grandis, like all these other bigger characters? Are they going to start remaking some of these older toys?
Or I somewhat suspect that the Commander class is only going to be 1 or 2 figures per line. We only got one commander class with Siege. And so far, we've only been told about Skylinks or Earthrise. Maybe we'll get another one during the next phase, but so far, from what I'm seeing, we're only getting one commander class toy per line. And now if that continues past the next line, who knows? I don't know. But I would like to see, there's, like you mentioned, there's several characters. I would like to see a new Thunderwing made in the commander class.
Absolutely.
I think that would be inappropriate.
Well, and I think Commander's taken over Titan. I think after Scorponok, if we get a Black Zarak, awesome. If we don't, that sucks. But I see Scorponok being the final Titan. That's it. And Commander class is the takeover for that.
If I had to
pick not.
What'd you say, Cadmus?
Yeah. I said I fucking hope not. I love Titans, man. Bigger the better.
I mean, technically, Unicron will be our last Titan if we don't get one after him next year. So,
is Unicron a Titan though? His class is kind of unique.
He's considered an Ultra Titan.
Yeah, I don't consider him a Titan just because of how much bigger he is in his bot mode, but how much bigger he is in his alt mode. That's like Crimson said, that'd be like an Ultra Titan or an Omega class point. I
call him a Galactic
Planet class.
Titan.
Planet class. Yeah,
Galactus class.
Yeah,
there you go. But also, I was just to bring up, there's how they're doing the Generation Select Seacons? You know how they did that? Yeah. I'm wondering, would they actually do a combiner Raiden with that going through that? It would be nice to do Raiden. I'm sorry, I'm a train freak.
Man, that could start like a whole nother conversation. But yeah, I totally wish that had been the announcement that they had when they were talking about the Masterpiece kind of Raiden rumors were happening. And then people were thinking, it's a reissue or maybe it's in the Generation Selects line. But that would be really cool to have had the train bots with actual some kind of good Earth or Hasbro names for it rather than this is Hurricane or this is Ryu or whatever, and then actually have those translated over as an Earthrise figures.
Well, I fully expect us to get some car robots or robots in disguise toys coming. I fully expect to either see some iteration of maybe the Car Robot Brothers coming up. And we've all said it in our separate shows and on our separate channels at one time or another. And Input was the first to say it that, Hasbro said everything's on the table. So, but the direction we've had Galaxy now happen, all right? We've had a couple of characters from Galaxy introduced. We've had Beast Wars series characters introduced in Cyberverse and in the, and so I fully expect to see it either in the next phase or maybe even the phase after. A lot of people seeing, well, maybe we'll go into season 4 stuff. Well, that may be true, but I think they're going to sprinkle in some of the other lines in there, and I fully expect our car robots in disguise, characters in one form or another show up within the next couple of lines. That's just my guess. I could be way off.
That would be cool. That would be cool if they actually did rail racing.
Oh yeah,
right. Midnight Express and
that would be cool if I know this. Completely different vehicle. One's a Datsun Cherry van and the other one's a Honda CRV. But I would absolutely love to see a new X-Brawn from whatever Ironhide is coming for Earthrise. Clean him up, give him a new head, and done.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be cool.
Yeah. The Transformers line I'd love to see get updated figures is Generation 2. Like Dreadwing and Pyro. I'd love to see updated figures of those guys.
Or get a Commander class Dreadwing and Dreadwind and Smokescreen. That would be awesome. And they would have Commander class.
Yeah, and a leader class version of Pyro.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
think
Can you guys imagine
I
Pyro
do think
not
Generation
suffering from
2.
gold plastic syndrome?
well,
Say
GP.
it again. I'm sorry.
No, what'd you say, Crimson Raptors?
What were you saying, TFNgeek? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
I'm saying the reason I want a new version of Pyro is because the original version suffers from gold plastic syndrome.
Yep.
Ah,
It does really bad too. Really bad.
Yeah, and it's in the worst place possible.
Same thing with Thunderclash. I mean,
Yeah. Don't
Where did he have
transform
gold
him.
plastic?
Just
but
just-
Yep.
go ahead,
just a
input.
I was just gonna say a quick tip if you guys are looking for any figures that would suffer from GPS. So like we're talking Thunderclash, we're talking Black Zerak, G1 Black Zerak, and stuff. Depending on what you want to do with the figure in your display, buy the one that is in the mode that you want to display already. So that way you less wear and tear on the gold plastic and it's a little bit safer and stuff. So if you want like a Black Zerak and you're going to display it in Scorpion mode, don't buy one that's in bot mode on eBay or something like that, buy one that's already transformed and in the Scorpion mode and everything.
Yep. But we do have a quick question I'm going to answer from, I think we'll all answer, from the chat, which is Web Junior 1977. Once again, he brings up, if you could choose a new Transformers crossover that hasn't been done yet, what would it be? And real quick, I'm going to go back up in the chat. Steve Evans, welcome, by the way, for joining us. He said Transformers and Command and Conquer during the Kane's Revenge Tiberium Wars era would be a cool crossover. I think I like that idea. But to answer Web Junior 1977 question, we're going to do a quick round and then we'll close the show. So starting with Tattimus Prime, the question once again is, if you could choose a new Transformers crossover that hasn't been done, what would it be?
I'm not a fan of crossovers.
Answers that question.
I mean, I love Star Wars. I love Transformers that crossed them over and it was shit.
Yes, they were. Vehicle modes were fantastic, but the robot modes were absolute trash. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I agree.
Except for the Star Wars Death Star, Darth Vader. That was actually a good one. But it's
the
still...
G.I. Joe comic crossover was the best thing they've ever done. And that's not saying much.
And TFangeek?
Oh, jeez. They've done so many crossovers with Transformers, Star Wars, Star Trek in the comic books, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, Marvel.
Terminator.
Yeah. If I had to name one that hasn't been done yet, the only one that comes to mind that would work with the Transformers is a crossover with Gundam.
Yep. I said that too.
I did that.
Actually, I did that already. So, yeah.
Oh, did you really?
He did.
Yeah.
You gotta watch this.
Yeah, I know. I was goofing on him, but he did. As a matter of fact, and I suggest everyone in chat, make sure you subscribe to everybody that's here on the show and in the chat. So make sure you go do that. Like all their videos, watch them all, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And moving on, Transparent 38 to the question: if you could choose a new Transformers crossover that hasn't been done yet, what would it be?
Was Robotech involved in any crossover?
Yeah, it was Jetfire.
I guess.
Well, I know they took the toy to make Jetfire.
And Roadbuster too.
That would just be a smart ass.
And Whirl. But
my guess would be mine would be Robotech, but I was like, I'm just hit on words for that.
And input.
I guess this would be a bit of a long-winded answer, but I'd like to see them actually do an actual crossover with Diaclone and not, some Diaclone homages or anything else, like a full-on story where everything is crossing over. Those two lines are crossing over. Something like the humans are tired of dealing with their war, so they make their own robots and they're a third faction now. It's us fighting for our to get these two warring factions off. Just a full-on crossover.
Well, that sounds interesting. I like that.
Dragonfly in chat said, Back to the Future crossover. I did a custom MicroMaster one. An official one would be awesome. That would be cool. That would be cool. And Crimson, how about you?
So I've mentioned it before when we talked about it on the show, but also Transaren took it too. So I would love to see that Transformers and Robotech crossover. I think that works better than a Robotech Voltron. Although I would like to see a Transformers, Robotech, and Exo Squad all in the shared universe. That would be pretty neat. Like because you could have Exo
the Exo Squad, yeah.
You know, and then after that, a couple hundred years after that, then the Beast Wars happens. You know, so because they're separated by 300 years, so that would be kind of a cool like in between.
That would be cool. I think for me, a nice crossover would be probably, you know, I'd almost love to see a crossover, a successful crossover, I should say, a successful crossover of the whole Brave series and Transformers. I think that could be pretty cool. In my opinion,
but I've heard Brave is like a continuation of Transformers because they have a lot of designs.
It's the spiritual success.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, Transaren 38 is pretty up on the Brave series stuff. And hit him up, and I'm sure he can fill you in on a lot of details about it. And so
there's some.
If you go look for those figures now, those Brave series figures, they are excessively expensive. Excessively so.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So guys,
yeah.
So guys, I just thought of the ultimate crossover: Transformers.
No
and GoBots.
No GoBot.
No.
Fuck yeah. I back that 100%.
Awesome.
Leader one being Optimus Prime's bitch. Oh, wait a minute. He was called. Wait a minute. His mini-con on Armada was Leader one, so yeah, he was already his bitch. Ow!
Oh!
Ooh, if we're going crazy, might as well go Transformers and
Actually, no. Leader one wasn't Optimus Prime's mini-con. That was Sparkplug. Leader one was Megatron's mini-con.
Oh, yeah. But still, he was still a bitch, so. Megatron's bitch.
So I think that'll be it for tonight, guys. I want to thank everyone in chat for joining us this evening. I want to thank all my guests here, Tattimus Prime, TFfangeek, Transaren 38, Input, and Crimson Raptors, all for joining me. Once again, make sure you go to every single one of our channels, those in chat and here in the show. Make sure you check us all out. Make sure you do all the liking, the subscribing, the hitting the bell icons, all that cool, good stuff. Really helps our channel grow. Crimson Raptors, he's about to hit 200, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, 195. I'm just chilling right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I am currently, I think, at 182. So I'd like to.
You are 184 is what I see right now, Ninja Bill.
Wherever I'm at. Wow, really?
Yep. You gain 2 more from having Ninja Bill and Friends.
There you go.
Awesome. And I just really appreciate all you guys being here. Tattimus Prime, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you so much for a triumphant return to YouTube via my show, and really appreciate it. And brother, man, I love you, brother, and much love to you. And thank you for joining me. Thanks everyone for joining me tonight. And you know what? Input, lead us out.
So this is the part where I tell a story, and this is a story that is untold from countless generations. It's been passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down.